Hi, I am Kim Greene.
And I'm Melissa Street.
And we are Greene Street Beauty.
We are. Today we're going to talk to you about how to get a job.
As a makeup artist. Or hairdresser in whatever industry.
Exactly. In fact, that's the first thing we should talk about. It's really important to choose the type of genre that you want to work in. And by that we mean, what kind of artist are you going to be?
Do you want to do makeup on or hair on brides? Do you want to be in film production? Television production,
special effects,
corporate.
What
other kind of makeup and hair people are there? Do you want to work at the store level? Do you want to work at, say, Sephora or something like that?
Right.
And why do you need to know? Well, you need to kind of figure out what you want to do, because I think it's mostly have to do with scheduling.
Definitely.
Because if, let's say, for instance, you are a film makeup artist. I happen to work in film and television primarily. And when I get on a film, I work maybe 2-3 months. Then let's say I got into music videos, and I was starting to do music videos all the time. And those are like 1 or 2 day shoots.
At night.
But regardless, it's like only 2 days versus like 3 months. So then I've done a few videos with somebody and I get a film. So then I'm gone for 3 months. Well, that producer is gonna then go on to someone else who's available. Right. So I kind of fall out of that video production world. So it's not, I don't think it's as much like, oh, you can only do one or the other. I think it has to do with scheduling.
I think it has to do with scheduling too.
Yeah.
And it's good to also just, remember that you can do a lot of different things as a freelancer, as a union artist, whatever, but it is good to pinpoint that genre and and have that be your big money maker. Because there are lulls in the industry, and you can go and do those music videos, or you can go and do that corporate work, but it's good to have that. This is what I'm good at. This is where my main money is being made.
And we're also talking about if you're sort of at the beginning of your career too. At the beginning of your career, you might try and dabble in different things, and you might go, hey, you know what? I'm actually really good at that avant-garde, really hip, cool print kind of stuff, or runway, and I really enjoy doing it. So I really want to do that.
Right. And let's touch on that for just a second, because not every kind of makeup artistry is done all over the United States or in Europe,
true.
right?
That's really true.
Right? Because like in California, there's no runway. There's very little, and it's definitely not.
You can find print and fashion here, but it's not like New York. I mean, you can make a living in LA here, but But if you live in the Midwest, you might be able to find commercial work. You're going to be able to certainly find bridal work, and there's some, there's big commercials in Chicago. I know that for a fact. There's a lot of advertising there. But are you going to find a lot of film work or TV work? Not so much.
Not so much, no.
So really, it is also where you live.
Right.
I mean, Atlanta, huge film place right now. Louisiana, California, not so much a film anymore, but you can sure find a TV show here in Los Angeles.
So do your research. Figure out the area that you live in first and foremost. What is going on?
And are you willing to move? Are you willing to relocate?
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's other things about the kind of person you are, or your family life. Like if you have a baby or a small child, if you may not want to do film work because you might have to pick up and go to another state to go work on a film for 3 months, and it's really hard to bring your child with you. I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm not saying that, but it makes it a lot harder, and you might want to be at home with your baby or your small child.
Right. Harder and expensive, because you can't bring your baby to set, which means you have to get a nanny
and all of that. Everything's doable, but it is also a lifestyle choice. And if you're a corporate, you decided to do a lot because you had the two girls.
Yes, that's exactly what I did. I made a choice, a compromise in my career back when I decided to start having children, and I still do commercial and television and things like that in my area, but I do a lot of corporate work, and it's because of the fact that my kids are still in school. Once my kids get out of school, I can then kind of tweak my career back to sort of where it used to be before I got married and had kids. So.
Right, and I never had kids. I'm married but no children, and so it was really easy for me to travel and get up and go wherever I wanted to go. I've filmed all over the world, actually. And, so it really is your lifestyle, too, and what you're interested in. And also, there's a lot of hours in television and film. If you like working long hours and you want to make good money, heck, that's the place to go. But if you want to do little shorter things, it depends.
You know what though? I'll tell you, gone is that don't get the impression that you're going to go to work from 9 to 5. I don't care what kind of set you're on, fashion, corporate, industrial, I don't care. You're going to work for at least 10 hours to 12 hours in film, sometimes 18.
Yeah, it all depends. And sometimes you work all night and then all day. But there's something about the film and television world for me that I love, because it's being part of a family and a group, and also seeing a project from beginning to end.
Totally.
And there's something really exciting about when a film comes out and you were part of it. So,
it's magic.
Yeah, it's really great, and I've always loved that. I've always loved film, and I've always loved television. I'm kind of a junkie.
You
so
are.
For me, it was and I went to college in radio, TV, and film,
Yeah.
so it was always my path.
It's great.
But I've done it all. I've done corporate, I've done print, I've done music videos. Over the years, I started out in one area and kind of then got into film, was lucky enough to get into film.
Right. Yeah, you can always tweak your career. It's just that. Just figure out that genre. I feel best doing bridal work. I work best one-on-one with someone,
Or if I can't move because my whole family is here.
Right.
And you know what? And also I love brides, and I love, or whatever, I want to work retail or whatever. So that's really important.
Right.
Then let's move on to how do you get, people always ask me, how do you get hired? Like, what do you do?
Right. Well, for me as a freelancer, what I did in the very beginning was the town that I lived in, I went and researched all of the independent production companies that were located in that town. And then I kind of went into a marketing mode for myself where I thought, I'm gonna cold call, I'm gonna be a salesperson, I'm gonna knock on those doors, because I'll tell you something, they want to see what you look like. Okay, they want to hear your voice and see what you look like and know that you're professional. I printed out my resume, I've got my business card, I made like little packets, if you will, of my stuff with a little like kind of composite card that had sort of all the pictures and people that I'd worked with, and I went cold calling and knocked on all those doors. Some of the producers who would hire were available, sometimes they weren't, and I just dropped it off to the receptionist.
And I'll put it in the
cross my
file,
finger, yeah. But and then I followed up with a phone call in like a week or two, and I just kept going. I also networked, in my area, there are like film commissions, and there are networking events and meetings, and I went to those things.
Well, speaking of that, there are groups that you can join. The Hair and Makeup Artist Network. Michelle Lee is the founder of that.
Yeah,
if you could find them online, the Hair and Makeup Artist Network, and we'll put the link under below. And you can join those kind of organizations that will. That you can network with other makeup and hair people. And I think that's really important, is networking with other people in the industry, because if they're not available to do a project, they will hopefully think of you, and if you're not available, you'll think of them, and you can help each other.
Exactly.
I think your biggest asset is other makeup and hair people. And on that note, I'm a really big believer in never take someone's job, never take someone's client. In the keeping it the most positive thing possible is support each other as artists and always have somebody's back. These are the people that are going to be with you 20 years from now. That actress, that producer, that director, we love them all. They're great.
Right.
We want them in our lives. But it's the makeup artists and the hairdressers who are going to be there at the end of their career.
And you know what? Honestly, it's a small industry.
Yeah.
You do not really want to burn any bridges. You want to make sure that you're doing things the right way. And
in your heart of hearts, if you do something that doesn't feel right, or you're getting ahead by stepping on somebody or stepping over somebody, it's wrong. Just don't do it.
Right.
I'm just saying, don't do it. I have never done it, and I never will, and I've got a pretty decent career.
Yeah, I think so. And a good reputation.
Going on the straight and narrow.
You do get a reputation, so remember that.
Yeah.
Let's talk real quick about promotional materials in relation to getting a job.
Oh, and by the way, you had said something about a little earlier. I think if you're starting out, just to keep it really basic, you need photographs of your work. So, and if you're deeper into it, fine, keep getting photographs. Start out with clean, and this is my opinion, clean, beautiful makeup and hair. Leave the giant over-the-top, avant-garde, crazy colors and all of that, which we all love to do. Leave that to the side for a minute, and I'll tell you why. The majority of work is clean, straight makeup and hair. And I made a mistake at the beginning of my career. I did some makeup and hair work, and I put all these flowers in this girl's hair because, I just thought it'd be cool. And I did basically 15 different colors on her face, and I made her all fabulous. And I showed that image with 3 or 4 straight makeups. And the guy literally was looking at the picture of the flowers, and he was like, this is just not what we need. And I was like, can I take it back?
Right.
And it was too late. I'd already showed him that picture.
Right. And I actually made a mistake early in my career because I was going to be a big special effects artist. I put on my website all of these awful, graphic, bloody pictures. And people were like, what? We're not hiring her. But I'm like, but wait, turn to page 2. You can see the clean. Oh, no.
I would keep your special effects and your over-the-top colorful makeups separate, and maybe even a separate book or a separate, on your website, or if you do this on your website, I would have a clean beauty, and then I would have your other effects stuff in another folder in a different area, because you want to sell to your audience.
Exactly. You know what actually I do, if you are doing special effects, or maybe you do have over-the-top runway avant-garde things, you can put them in a PDF file and put like a blurb on your website that just says, if you're looking for special effects, I can email you, contact me, and then I can email you a separate folder of my work.
Yes.
It's something like that, much better.
Let's talk about too the different places that you can also go to find work. If you're looking for television or film work, you want to go to Production Weekly. There's some other ones. You can look in the Hollywood Reporter, Variety Magazine, LA 411, New York 411.
Right.
There's production listings, Find Film Work, IMDb, of course, the Hair and Makeup Artist Network that we always talk about.
Right.
And there's also groups that you can join, like Women in Film.
Right. Hair and Makeup Artist Network is a group that you can join. Women in Film is a group.
And then,
there's a lot of different ones. In like where I'm from, you can check with your local film commission as well, and they'll have a network. They'll have a list of networks that are there too. There could be a producers network and things like that. I've gone to many like group talks that just housed all kinds of producers in one room, and I just started networking and passing out my cards. So you could do something like that as well.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, your film
and have
commissions
nice,
will have
clean cards, and your cards
Simple.
should be simple and clean and have all your information on it. I wouldn't, this is my personal opinion, don't use a generic photo that you can get on the internet, because somebody's like, there's going to be 40 or 100 other people that have that exact same card, and it's going to get confusing. Even if it's just your name and a pretty color, whatever, I would just keep it simple with information.
Exactly. And that goes for websites too. My opinion on websites, whenever I'm looking to hire somebody, if somebody's sending me a link to their website and I'm clicking on it, and the first thing I have to do is either download the latest version of Adobe and Flash, I'm like, forget it, moved on. If it doesn't come up right away, I'm not downloading your latest version of anything. If it has massive music, like Rihanna is screaming at me out of my computer.
I guess what she's saying is, remember, the people that are hiring you are not your age, probably. Right. If you're really young and you're watching this, they're probably older. Right. And just remember that you have to, again, sell to your audience. So try to think about who is on the other end of that resume or that computer.
Right. I want to see your work. I want to see your work. I want to know how to get in touch with you. Yeah. That's it.
Well, I'm talking about producers and directors, and also business corporations. Like, there's a corporate person behind the monitor with a business suit on, going, "What is this? What is this crazy music with this weird? Blah, I don't want this person." So I know you're probably like, "I want to be individual and I want to be myself." Sure, go ahead, do that. But we'll see if you can.
Yeah, we do too. But
you'll get more work being a little bit calmer in your images and in also your presentation.
Why don't we talk a second about agency?
Oh, okay.
I have never had an agent for any purpose. I haven't had it for any kind of genre of artistry that I've worked in, but you have had an agent.
I think agents are great. I think that if you're starting out, you're not going to get an agent anyway, probably. You might be able to be an assistant for another artist, makeup or hair artist at an agency, like one of the print agencies.
Okay.
But you're not going to be able to walk in the door and just be like, "Hey, look at my book," and get an agent. Because remember, agents are trying to find people that are an easy sell for them. So you actually need to have the experience before they'll take you. I know it seems like a catch-22.
No,
But it's
it
extremely
seems
hard to get an agent at the beginning. You have to
Right.
kind of build your own career, and then they'll take you on.
But do agents help you get work, or do they?
I think more so in the print world. That yes, part of their job is to help you get work, but they don't usually get you that much work. You have to. It's again your contacts, but they'll help you negotiate.
Right.
And sometimes they help you find work. But
How do you get work for film? Just because you're a union artist, the union doesn't say here you go.
The union doesn't
right?
help you get work.
Right.
No.
So how do you get work as a film artist?
My personal experience is I get the Production Weekly report. I pay for it. I think it's $50 or $60 a month now. I've been getting it for years. And I go through and I look at the listings and I check where is it shooting, what, who's in it, is there a production manager I might know or a producer, and I kind of go through each and everything. And then if there's even an inkling of somebody I might know, or if the timing is right, I cut and paste it and I put it on a separate sheet of paper, and I go and I make the phone call and I'm like, hi, this is Kim Greene, I'm a makeup artist. Have you crewed up your makeup department yet? I'm a makeup department head. And they'll either say yes or no. If they say no, we haven't, I'm like, well, I would love to send my resume. How would you suggest I do that? And they go, well, all right, email it or fax it, or, you know, we're not taking resumes right now, we will in a month, or whatever the case is. And then I'll send my resume according to whatever they said. I keep it very simple in my letter. I do not, they ask me to email it, I just say, hi, this is my name. I'm a department head. Please consider me for your upcoming project. I put the name in there. I try to make it as personal as possible. And please, I would like to come in for an interview when you're at that point in pre-production.
Do you attach a resume? Or?
I attach my resume,
Okay.
and then I wait. And either I get a call back or I don't. And then if they have said on the phone, well, we're not really looking in a month, I'll say, oh, well, I'd like to send my resume anyway, and I'll follow up. So a month goes by, and I have a little Rolodex, a little old-fashioned kind of Rolodex, and it has in there, you know, the dates, and then I will call back at that time, and I would have written down the person's name and recontact. And that's just kind of.
And you heard what she said.
Old school, guys.
And you heard what she said, because Kim Greene's, your IMDb is like, her resume is intensely long. She's done all kinds of stuff, but you heard what she just said as far as she still has to interview.
And I bring my book, and they want to see my book, and they want to see my resume, and when I go to the interview, I pass out my resume to everybody. I make copies. If there's 4, I find out how many people are going to be at the meeting.
Right.
If there's 4 people, I pass out 4 resumes. And I don't have a book, we are giving you so much information, but I have a book, but it's not like the old, used to have a book and it was a book and you would go like that.
Like
now I bring in my computer. It's on my computer, my portfolio, and if there's a lot of people, I'm like, okay, how do you guys want to do this? And then we sit around and I click from picture to picture, and I still show my portfolio.
Right. And I don't have to go through so much the interview process unless it's a bigger commercial. And then I will have my iPad and things like that too. I get like most of the majority of my work as a freelancer comes from word of mouth and from referral. Either I've done a phenomenal job and someone told someone and the producer calls me directly, or the production coordinator calls me directly, and I'm usually like hired for the gig like that day over the phone.
But sorry,
no, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that if eventually, you know, remember at the beginning, it's a lot of cold calls and a lot of sending out resumes and following up and making phone calls and going to meetings and going. And I'm not saying that stops, because you still have to do that stuff as your career goes on and keep reinventing yourself and keep it up on stuff. But it gets easier. You get repeat business. You know, you'll work for a producer or for an actor or for a model or whatever, a photographer, and they'll like you if you do good work and you're professional, and they'll hire you again. So it does. You know, honestly, if I look back over 20 years of my career, I don't have that many clients. I have the same clients that have hired me over and over and over again. But you can't get complacent, and you have to keep looking for new clients and, you know, taking care of your old ones as well. So
That's true. That's true.
It's a never-ending sort of, you know,
It's a career.
It's a career. It's a career.
It's a career. It's not a job.
Oh, and speaking about that, you should always do continued education and keep learning. you know, we've both been doing this for a long time, but I never stop educating myself. I still go to classes. I still learn from, you know, other YouTube channels. What's new, what's great. I keep buying new products and trying new products because I want to know what's now, what's going on.
What's happening, right. I keep current too by attending things like IMATS and the makeup show, because they'll have seminars. Sometimes high caliber makeup artists are teaching, I mean, whatever, and they'll have a whole genre. They'll have bridal, they'll have film, they'll have effects.
And also you see what the new products are too, because a lot of the booths at the IMATS and the makeup show, and there's so many other trade shows too that are so great to go to, because you're going to be you're going to see all the new stuff.
Absolutely.
What did I see the other day? These little glitter things that you put in your hair and you iron them in, and I ended up using them on this singer, and she loved them. I wouldn't have known they existed if I hadn't gone to the trade show.
To the IMATS, I also like to at IMATS this year they'll have people talking about the latest cameras, the latest technology.
Oh yeah, they have the red camera.
You know, because that'll change too, and that helps. You need to keep up on that as a makeup artist.
And you should know about lighting, and you should know about camera work, and my goodness, so many things to learn. But that's what's exciting. I love to learn and continue to educate myself. I think it's so much fun.
You have to keep learning.
And listen, we're not 20. We always say that we're not 20, but look at us keeping up on what's going on. We're on YouTube. We've got blogs. We've got websites. We're always on top of what's going on, because, and by the time, 20 years from now, if you are young, 20 years from now, there's going to be, God knows what they'll be.
I know.
But you need to be on top of that stuff in the future too. Just
absolutely
keep on top of what's going on in the social media and just in technology in general.
Yeah. I think that's it, guys. We've just inundated you with a ton of information, but we've been getting these questions, this particular question, for
so
long and from so many people. I think that's all we have for you there, guys.
All right, go out and get a job. Good luck. If you have any more questions, feel free to comment or ask, and
please do.
If we have the answers, we will give them to you.
Yes. Thanks for watching, you guys.
Okay, bye.
Have a good day.